Every team in every single year in the entire history of Formula 1 has needed fixing at one point or another. Now, I say that, the 2020 Mercedes didn't really need fixing.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton in 2020 to extend his championship lead even further.
And let's be real, neither did the 2023 Red Bull.
Max Verstappen wins for Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen.
But 2024 is a totally different year, and it's all a bit different. Red Bull is no longer an unstoppable force, and Max Verstappen isn't an immovable object. Now yes, we still do hear that lovely anthem here and there, but it's not how it used to be. So with that said, I'm the team principal of every single team in Formula 1, and this is what I would do to fix every single team. What's necessary, not what is like, oh, kind, oh, I like this driver, I think we should keep him, blah, blah, blah. No, what has to be done, has to be done. Whether that be putting a bullet through someone's head or kidnapping certain people to help the team, what has to be done, has to be done. In the comments, let me know how you guys would fix every single team in Formula 1. And watch it down there, subscribe and like, otherwise Max Verstappen will keep winning, no championship fight, the season is boring and we all fall asleep. That wouldn't be good. In recent years, we all know Red Bull as a team that is impossible to beat. By a team impossible to beat, I mean there's a single driver which is impossible to beat, that being Max Verstappen. Because let's be real, Sergio Perez is Sergio Perez. Even at the start of the season, beating Red Bull seemed impossible, and when Sainz did beat them, it was like winning an Oscar, something that doesn't happen at all to anybody, but it somehow managed to come into fruition. But over the last couple races, more than couple races, Red Bull have been struggling. Not just Sergio Perez. Now yes, he obviously has been way worse than Max Verstappen. Whilst Max Verstappen is still putting up good performances, Sergio Perez is most likely being knocked out of Q1. Or is in the wall. But genuinely, Red Bull have been struggling. Now I have faith in Adrian Newey and everyone around the team to be able to develop that car back up to the top. I have faith in them, so that's not really an issue. Okay, your car's been bad for the last couple races, but Adrian Newey can cook up. But someone who can't cook up, literally the opposite of Ratatouille, is Sergio Perez. To fix Red Bull, there is only one thing that needs to be done at this current time, and that is banishing Sergio Perez from the land. From Milton Keynes, from the Red Bull Association. That is shipping him out to Swaziland, far away. Don't be associated, because anytime you get close, you're close to the barrier, not close to the finish line. He's single-handedly griefing the team, not helping them out in the constructors' points whatsoever, and in races, he can't even help Max Verstappen win because he's so far down the grid. Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, they can all help each other out. But Red Bull cannot do that. Banishing Sergio Perez would fix that issue. Getting another great driver, that would be much better, wouldn't it?
You've got a problem, change your fucking car.
There's no doubt about it that Mercedes have had a couple oopsies in their past. The 2022 car, big oopsie.
What the fuck?
Mercedes are on their way to rebuild their team back up to the top. And over the last couple years, they've had a lot of issues. One of those massive issues, their biggest issue, their only issue, was their car. But it seems like over the last couple races, they've been bringing that car back up to the top. And who knows, maybe that car is already fixed. Maybe that car is already at the top. In Canada, they were low-key cooking before George Russell decided to do what George Russell does best.
Yes! No! Fuck! Shit!
I mean, he's done it in Canada. He's done it in Singapore. He's done it so many times. And currently in Spain, Mercedes look like a top dog, a front runner. Between McLaren, between Mercedes, who knows? They might be cooking. So maybe they don't need to fix their car. But their biggest issue at the moment is that second seat. It's a seat that nobody wants at the moment, and it looks like Kimi Antonelli is going to get it. But I think that dropping Paul Aron from the Mercedes Association was a bigger mistake than Daniel Ricciardo leaving that Red Bull team in 2018. Paul Aron Oh, he's been absolutely frying that frying pan in F2 this season. He's been leading the championship, 0 associations with any Formula 1 team, any academy, anything. He's just doing it solo because that's what he does. And honestly, I think re-signing Paul Aron for next year would fix that team. He's consistent. He's been in motorsport for a while. He's not too young like Kimi Antonelli, where I think the Williams seat would more suit his youngness and an inexperiencedness. The problem that Mercedes need to fix is that second seat. Who's going to take it? Paul Aron. Do you remember that time where Fernando Alonso was standing on the podium every single race, or what felt like pretty much every single race in that Aston Martin? No, neither do I, because it was kind of long ago. Similar to Red Bull, a pretty logical way to improve Aston Martin would be to banish the weakest link of that team. Red Bull, obviously, that being Sergio Perez, and Aston Martin, and with Aston Martin, unequivocally, it is going to be Lance Stroll. You see, Fernando Alonso actually wants to win. He wants to do good. And Lance Stroll just doesn't want to do good. All he wants to do is find the barrier. But I believe that banishing or firing or kicking Lance Stroll out isn't what is necessary in Aston Martin. He isn't the worst teammate. He isn't the worst driver. He is no Logan Sargent. He is no Latifi. He is just... meh. But I believe that in order to fix Aston Martin, there is one thing and one thing only that has to be done. That is infiltrating Red Bull, putting a mask over Adrian Newey's face, kidnapping him, and taking him over to the Aston Martin factory to develop an absolutely stunning car. The times where Aston Martin did have a good car at the start of 23, they could cope under pressure. They could score podiums. They could nearly qualify on the front row of the grid, or sometimes even did that. Nearly scored pole positions, nearly won races. They can handle everything. The only thing that they're missing is, well, Adrian Newey to help them develop that car, fix the car. Because fundamentally, the car's good. Hasn't much changed since the start of 23. But it's just been going backwards and backwards. Upgrades are meant to help the car go faster. And Adrian Newey can do that because, well, he's been doing it with Red Bull and Verstappen for ages. Anyways, Adrian Newey would single-handedly fix that whole Aston Martin team. He's like James Bond. Silent, secretive, killer of other teams. James Bond, killer of other criminals. Adrian Newey, killer of other teams because he just demolishes everybody. It all makes sense.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Williams, under Pastor Maldonado, managed to win a race.
New winner in Formula One, it's Pastor Maldonado ahead of Fernando Alonso.
And yes, ever since Pastor Maldonado, it has been going from bad to absolutely even worse. The skipping stone pebble of the water has sunk. The Titanic has hit the iceberg and sunk. They are at the bottom of the ocean. But I was listening to some tunes, and I'm not talking about the Dutch anthem. I'm talking about some heady one. And I came across a line that actually fascinated me. And it got me thinking. And it got me wondering. This could actually help Williams out.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta lose the battle just so you can win the war.
Sometimes you gotta lose the battle so that you can win the war. Now that got me thinking just like an English teacher in year 8, analysing everything and then putting it into use. Williams, I think they have to lose the battle this year, next year, like they have been doing for the last 10 years, and sacrifice everything, so that in 2026 they can literally focus everything they have into that 2026 car. Put all their money, literally everything that they have, gamble it on 2026. The regulation changes, and hopefully they can get that right. Because I don't think there's much use focusing on this year, focusing on next year, when, let's be real, they're still going to be at the back of the grid. Whether it be with Logan Sargent, or whether it be with, say, a rookie and Kimi Antonelli, Paul Aron, this, that, and the other. It's just like, you gotta just firm the couple losses this year. Alex Albon says he doesn't mind waiting out a couple years for 2026, see if they've actually cooked up then. That is personally how I believe that Williams will be able to get back to the top, fix themselves up, because let's be real, their foundation is good. Good team principal, good primary driver, they have eyes on Carlos Sainz, and if they get that, honestly, good base layer, good level to move up from. And 2026, that would be a good place to you know, be good. There's no doubt about it that other teams are also going to be focusing on 2026. It's a big gamble. Say it doesn't work out, then what? They're with a pretty poor car. Alex Albon's going to want to leave. If Carlos Sainz joins, he's going to want to leave. It's all going to be a little downward spiral since then. But you can't go any further downwards when you're already at the bottom. Unfixable.
That's all, folks.
Not just Formula 1, but genuinely everything is unfixable.
Oh, Alpine facing the wrong way.
Smoking. That is big trouble for the 35 car.
Big impact into the wall for the two Alpines.
The team seemed so good, the future seemed so bright when they had Oscar Piastri, they had Fernando Alonso in the team. It seemed like they were actually making upward progress. They've just won a race, they've just stood on the podium multiple times. Surely they can't drop down the grid. Surely the only way to go is up. Well, that's what we all thought, but we all got proven wrong because Alpine somehow managed to be Alpine. And all of the other teams which I've just blabbered on about, it's always been one issue that has to be solved. One maths equation, 1 + 2 = 3. Easy fix. But with Alpine, it's a tad more difficult. In Alpine, literally everything has to be fixed. From A to Z, from 1 to like 99999 recurring. Everything. The drivers, the management, the car, you name it, it has to be fixed. It was a good move to say bye-bye to Esteban Ocon. That's a good step in the right direction, a good way to fix the team. But I think you just got to pray that everything sorts itself out, because in that team, there is no hope. Oh, Haas. Oh, Haas. Oh, Haas. They've been crippled with depression for the entire time they've been in Formula 1, and that's been not that long. They've never been good, and they've always been awful, and I guess some steps have been made to improve the team. Saying bye-bye to their old team principal and saying hello to Eyo Komatsu. Saying bye-bye to Mazepin, saying bye-bye to Grosjean, saying bye-bye to Schumacher, and now Hülkenberg is saying bye-bye to them. I guess everything is slowly crumbling apart again. And the thing that Haas needs to fix the entire team is money. Either pull off a casino heist, either rob a bank, do something to get more funds, to get better drivers, to improve the car, because that's what they've been lacking the entire time they've been in Formula 1. They've only hired trash cans of drivers who are the worst of the worst. Their car has always been the slowest because they can't upgrade the car as often as other teams. They can't develop the car like other teams. And the times around where they did have good sponsors, they were better than they were when they didn't have good sponsors. More money, better team. All they need is money. Sign some big fat contracts and you'll be fine. And then you won't be finishing P10 in the constructors every year, and you won't be finishing P20 in the race every single year. You'll be able to afford some good drivers and not people like Mazepin. And you'll be able to upgrade the car, have a good car. Things will be much, much better if you had a bit more money. Ferrari, over the last 15 years or so, have been riddled with good drivers and good drivers who get unfortunate.
Sake. Sorry, guys.
I guess their luck wasn't on their side. But I guess things have changed over the last couple of years, because Ferrari has been slowly collecting all of the Infinity Stones, collecting Charles Leclerc, collecting Lewis Hamilton, collecting Fred Vasseur, and I think there's only one thing else they need to collect, and that is, yeah, you know, Adrian Newey. The Ferrari that we know in recent years has always been a little mishy-mashy. Is it wet? Is it dry? If it's raining, should we go out on dry tyres? If it's wet, should we go out on dry tyres? If it's raining, should we go out on hards? I don't know. It's always been a bit uncertain on that pit wall. Are they mentally stable? Should they be in a psych ward? Should they be in a clinic? Or are they actually competent people who are there? Seems like everybody in that team was going a little haywire, and even Charles Leclerc was at one point. And with the addition of Fred Vasseur into Ferrari, we finally see some sense of direction, some clarity in the path that is ahead of them. Finally. And also, I think there has to be some clarity and sense of direction with the development of the car. aka bring in Adrian Newey because he'll be steering that ship to success. Highly motivated team, a highly motivated person who wants to win a Ferrari, always wanted to be in Ferrari, always wanted to be with Lewis Hamilton and or Fernando Alonso, and here he can tick off 2 of those 3 things just in one little transfer move. I'm not saying that the Ferrari car at the moment is bad, because it's not. It can potentially win the drivers, potentially win the constructors, but with some more sense of direction, I guess things will be more figured out. There will be no Canada incidents. There will be less mistakes. I think the car, everything around that team would be a tad better with Adrian Newey. The sense of direction from the car development side, the sense of direction from the Fred Vasseur side, the sense of direction from the 2 drivers, everything, all of the Infinity Stones would be collected. Perfect team, then. Easy W's. I say that other years were easy W's for Ferrari, especially in Sao Paulo. But somehow L's still followed. Now in your bright mind you might be thinking the only way to fix RB is to get rid of Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, Yuki Tsunoda is scoring points every single race. Unless he's pirouetting through the track, then I guess he's not scoring points then. But every other race, he's doing his best to score points. And in that time, Daniel Ricciardo was probably dilly-dallying in the back with Logan Sargent, sometimes crashing out with other Williamses, sometimes doing other shenanigan things. But I don't think that's the case. I think Daniel Ricciardo still has good potential in him. We've seen it in certain qualifyings this year. We've seen it in certain races this year. He has gotten a bit unlucky with Lance Stroll bringing out the Lance Stroll special. But I think the way to improve RB at the moment would be to help Daniel Ricciardo out as much as they possibly can. Help him get to the level as Yuki is at the moment and help him surpass that. Surpass that so that eventually Perez can get kicked out, Yuki can go up to Red Bull, and then Liam Lawson can go up to RB and Daniel Ricciardo help out Liam Lawson. Because Daniel Ricciardo at the moment might not be the most helpful person on track, but behind the scenes, he probably 100% is. And honestly, call me delusional, but I have faith that he isn't washed and that he still will bring some good things to that team and help the team, help himself, and eventually I think he'll be in a better team. Helping Daniel Ricciardo out with his current struggles in turn will help RB out in points, in everything, in the entire team. Sauber needs to stop selling their soul to the devil. Everything about that team back in the day was once cool. The drivers, they had Kubica, they had Vettel, the livery, the team, BMW was cool. BMW Sauber, winning races, scoring podiums. That's what happens when you go down a bad pathway in life. You go to stake, you go to kick, you go to all of these bad things in life, and that's what happens. You go from being at the top of the field to now being plumb dead last with 0 points. They honestly need to seek help. They need to wait for Audi. They need to wait for the team to be restored back to its former glory, whatever former that was. And honestly, at the moment, there is 0 way of fixing that team. There is nothing to be done. The team is about to be sold. What's the point? No, genuinely, what's the point of dumping money when nobody at the end of the day cares about that team? Nobody cares where it's going. It's going to be bought out. It's like, why are you even thinking about it? It's just, it's already in the bin. Just let it die, let it retire. Another team's going to come in, and then they're going to have all the issues. So there's that. I mean, the only thing that they could do maybe is try to secure Carlos Sainz, but he doesn't seem too certain on that team, and they don't seem too certain about him. So it's just all a little shady. Now, say we were talking about McLaren back in the day, there would be many things to improve on. I mean, back in the day, McLaren wasn't good whatsoever. Fernando Alonso was better off chilling in a hammock than actually driving, because what's the point when either way you're going to get overtaken by everybody because the car is a boat. But this year, McLaren are actually good. They're winning races. They're scoring podiums. They're doing everything they have to do. Arguably the fastest car on the grid, arguably the best driver dynamic. It's a clear one too. Everything about that team is fantastic. And I believe there is nothing you can do to fix that team. I think it's already great. I think it's already pretty much near perfect. The only thing they're missing is more wins, more championships, more success. Because the last time they won a championship was 2008. And they literally barely won that championship. Won it in the last corner. So if I was McLaren, I'd just keep on developing the car. That's how you can even more improve the team from whatever it is. It's not much to do. Anyways, let me know down in the comments, do you think that any other teams can be fixed in any other ways, or is it just a wraps in general for certain teams? Sell the team, you're that bad, it's just no point of racing anymore. Whilst you're down there in the comments, like and subscribe. I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's kind of criminal if you don't. And don't die, because then you can't watch the videos, and then everybody's sad, and I'm sad, and everybody's sad, and then you can't watch the videos. Have a safe and fantastic rest of your day. Don't die. Peace.